Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Barcast TV and to another episode of Barcast Daily. It is April 25th, 2023. We've got another great game for you all, so let's go ahead and get into the replay. Hopefully y'all are having a great day and like to see you coming back, so here we are. Have another great game. Hey, let's introduce our players. Spawning in the top left side of the map, playing as the red pieces, it's Goopy. And his opponent, spawning on the right side of the map, playing as the blue pieces, it's Raghna. So neither one of these players strangers to the channel. I'm sure y'all have gotten familiar with them by now. Really high up on the leaderboard, and they should give us a great game. Today they're going to be playing on Comet Catcher. I see a lot of these high-level 1v1 lobbies being played on Comet Catcher. So as long as these gentlemen continue to play on this map, I'll continue to cast them. So thank you all for providing such a great game for us. And for those of you who aren't subscribed to the channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. If you like seeing these daily 1v1 replays brought to you, let me know how you feel. Hit the like button. So thank you for that. And for those of you who have been leaving comments, sending me replays, I really appreciate it. I'm going to try my best to get all that content out to you as soon as I can. And thanks again. So let's go ahead and look at these opening build orders. We see Raghna. Pretty standard open so far. He caps his two mexes, takes a little walk with his commander, and goes for the bot lab open here. So pretty standard, just adding on a third solar collector. And his opponent, Goopy, is spawned in a different location. We don't see a lot of these high-level players spawning in these top left or bottom right corners that you do on a duel. And he's going to be going for a vehicle plan. So we've got vehicles versus bots. Pretty cool matchup to see, and I'm curious to see how Raghna deals with this matchup here, and is rolling Armada actually, so doesn't have that extra range on the grunt to deal with the fast tanks we should be seeing out of Goopy. So looks like Raghna has a couple of ticks moving across the map. He's searching for his opponent, and I'm wondering if he'll be surprised at the actual position he spawned at. So Goopy's producing his own fast units here, so two ships passing in the night, of course, you know, classic. So Raghna finally realizing where his opponent's at, and Goopy's been making a lot of these scouts. He already has 7 on the board so far, so he's going to be using these ones near his main base to defend for now, and I see he has 2 moving across the map. He's looking for damage. Might end up catching a couple scouts or a couple of ticks, and looks like Raghna already has a little hit squad of pawns on the south side of the map, so we see 5 pawns making their way across to Goopy's side of the map. I think he's taking the long way around. He wants to avoid this being detected for as long as he can. So looks like Raghna's hit a little tick in the top left-hand corner of the board. Should be coming back soon to try and get some damage with that. And yeah, so we have a couple of these ticks going down. We see these what are these rovers, these light scout vehicles taking out a tick on the right side, taking out a tick in the middle. So doing a good job trying to defend these expanding engineers or construction vehicles, and this tick's made its way back to try and find some damage, and that's going to be cleaned up by these rovers. So great job dealing with this early game harassment. We can take a look at our player views for now as this game slows down. Goopy, sitting on about 13 mass income per tick right now, has his commander in his main base just assisting his factory, and has 2 expanding construction vehicles on the board, one on the top side and one heading towards the middle. His opponent, Raghna, is moving up some 5 pawns into position here, has a double expansion gang here heading on the top side, and is moving his commander to the middle of the board, but it looks like one of these pawns is going to catch some mechs here, so great job. Should be getting another couple mexes here, so one goes down. And same for that LLT, so great job. These pawns are a little tankier, do a little more damage than the grunt, I believe, so they can take on those LLTs a little more efficiently than their Cortex counterpart. So doesn't lose his construction vehicle, has to remake those, one solar collector and a metal extractor, so pretty decent damage here, trading those pawns for as much damage as he could. Wants to set his opponent behind, and meanwhile, Goopy was looking for a little bit of run-by damage there, but he sees the sentry turret defending these 2 construction bots and just chooses to run around. He thinks he can find damage somewhere else, and He might just find it. We see these rovers catching these construction bots out of range of this LLT. So he ends up getting one. Is he going to get a second one? Not quite yet. He's diving on it. I think that tick did a lot of damage. This tick has 4 kills on it. So great job using the LLTs and ticks to defend against the run-bys of your opponent. But we see some blitzes showing up. And this can be the real challenge of playing vehicles versus bots. Looks like Goopy comes in there, cleans up a radar, cleans up the other construction bot that was heavily damaged, and rolls out of there before losing his units to the construction turret. So Goopy, staying in the main base with his commander, he has these 3 construction bots expanding, left, right, and center, adding on LLTs, capping mexes, creeping his way onto the board, trying to increase that economy, and he's a little stalling on power right now. We can see definitely running a little bit of a deficit. You see he's got 1 construction vehicle, adding on about 12 solar collectors there in his main base. And we can take a look at Raghna. He's got a lot of construction bots assisting this factory. He's replaced these 2 construction bots moving towards the middle of the map, so he's going to be recapping those mexes. And these blitzes might end up catch another 2 construction bots, so that's a great trade there. I mean, you're trading blitzes for construction bots, but really Raghna has to replace those. I'd be surprised if he doesn't have a couple Lazarus on the way to kind of res those 2 construction bots so he doesn't have to waddle them across the map back to that position here. So some pawns moving to the top side of the board, blitzes moving to the bottom, looking for some more expanding engineers. See LLTs going up everywhere. 1 tick catches a building metal extractor that should go down, but these construction vehicles are so tanky. It's going to take more than 1 tick to take that out. Looks like Goopy spots Raghna's commander in the middle of the board, and this is his playstyle here. He loves to get his commander out in the middle of the board and start adding on so many LLTs. You see he already has 1, 2, 3, 4 in the middle of the board here. Really emphasizing that LLT, and he has its passive playstyle. I'm not sure if that completely describes it well, but I enjoy it. Makes for great matches here. Really puts you in a tough spot when you have to commit so much in an attack to get these heavily fortified LLT positions. And there he goes. He's got his forward vehicle plan out. It's going to cut the run travel time for units to the battlefield here for him. So really like this playstyle. He should be making some Janus. Yeah, we see adding on 2 construction bots, scouts, and Janus on repeat. So pretty cool to see. These high-level players like those repeat commands, and they really enjoy getting a lot of build power out of the board. So see this run by on the bottom? Takes out one of those mexes, a couple pawns, and it's just running around the main base. He doesn't want to run into these LLTs. This is a really well-constructed main base. We see these solar collectors protecting these construction bots, protecting this radar, and these 2 flanking LLTs give great coverage for that main base. So great SimCity. See some pawns on the top side of the board catching an LLT. So that mex is going to go down, and he's not done getting damage. He's going to take out another mex, and this LLT should be enough to stop these pawns here. They took a couple shots from earlier, and they should be cleaned up by these blitzes. So great job dealing with that run by on the top side of the board. And we see a construction bot ambitiously trying to make an LLT in the center of the board. He's going to eat a Janus shot and go down. So not what you want to have see. And we see these Janus, man, they do so much damage. They're slow firing and a little vulnerable. They don't have the most health, don't have the most movement speed, but they sure as hell pack a punch. So really like seeing this stout Janus unit composition. And we've got a lot of movement here on Raghna's side of the board. We have some blitzes on the top side here looking for damage. Blitzes in the behind the main base looking for some of those construction bots. And Raghna's hit a cheeky pawn here in this crater. So waiting for the opportune moment to come back and strike again. And this game is starting to get heated up here. You see some stouts going up against each other here in these medium tanks. Have a lot of blitzes. Looks like those 2 groups met up with each other on the top right side of the board and are going to be, holding this position here for a long time. And we have so much build power in the main base. Look at this. 7 construction bots assisting this factory, just continuing to add pawns, ticks, Lazarus, and construction bots all on repeat. So really interesting use of these factories here, these repeat commands. So you don't have to come back and continue to add on units. Something I need to incorporate into my own play. And look at these Janus, man. They do so much damage. Just a few mixed into this army composition. Let these swing these stout versus stout battles in your favor. Meanwhile, we have a run by behind Raghna's main base. He's moving pawns in a position to try and catch that. He's going to shave off a couple mexes. Lazarus goes down, and I don't think he's going to be diving too much farther into this main base. We'll see. He's camping it for now. He's taking out a couple solar collectors. You see a small little skirmish in the middle of the board. Both players choose to back away from each other, and this is a decent amount of damage here. Starting to stack up. We've got pawns going down, solar collectors going down, and it's going to force Raghna to add on an additional LLT in his main base. So, and great job, Goopy, getting those units out. Yeah, he doesn't donate all this mass to his opponent. See both players continuing to expand. Looks like Goopy's favoring expansions on the top side and moving down the left side of the board here. So his opponent, Raghna, looking to control the middle. He's adding on a lot of LLTs. Really emphasizing that defense here. You see, he's already has... How many is this on the board already for Raghna? Several. There's a lot. About 12 LLTs. Not sure where he's going to be expanding next. We see these two construction bots moving more towards the left side of the board. Trying to continue to encroach into the center here. He wants to deny these mexes from his opponent and force him to rotate around the edges of the map. So that's what Goopy's going to be doing, and he's been doing a good job of raiding so far, just shaving off units here. We have this run by on the bottom side. These blitzes still sharking around, still looking for damage. A couple of them are pretty badly damaged. And we have a little engagement in the center here. Stout shooing away those Janus, and we have a little run by Goopy sneaking these medium tanks back behind enemy lines. He's taking out LLTs, taking out metal extractors, dealing with those expanding construction bots. And here on the bottom left side of the board, a couple ticks could find a vulnerable construction vehicle here if Raghna's able to get on top of that and micro it. So he ends up splitting those up. There's so much action, units moving everywhere across the map. I'll try my best. We see a lot of Janus going off. Those stouts eating those shots. Can't escape them. They are tracking missiles, so we have these stouts here in the middle of the board trying to find damage. They're going to run into a line of pawns and an LLT, but I don't think this is enough to stop these units. Looks like Goopy's going to pull back for now. He wants to kite these pawns. Doesn't want to commit into those LLTs. And we have these blitzes in the middle of the board. Take out an LLT, take out a mix. Looks like this radar should end up going down. Yes, so great damage, clearing out these this forest of LLTs for now. And looks like we have a construction vehicle going to its doom, running into the medium tanks of Goopy. And we have these medium tanks on the middle of the board, still taking out mexes, LLTs, finding as much damage as they can, but the real battle is here in the center. We're up to 4 Janus now, 5 Janus, 9 kills between them. So efficient, and yeah, so I hear one of these cloakable metal extractors going down. Oh, those EMP the units around them as they go off. I did not know that, so pretty cool to see. Great job hiding your economy from your opponent, so it can make seeing these expansions a little more difficult. Great job. I'm not sure how much those cost. Let's take a look. So those are 4 times the mass of the standard solar collectors. So 200 mass to produce those. Takes a long time to pay those off. And we have a run by here forming on the top side. We have several pawns moving towards the top middle of the board. They're going to run into some of these rovers and make short work of them. They're taking out a radar, taking out metal extractors. So Goopy wasn't able to get up in LLTs back in that position. And a lot of Janus out now. Goopy moving towards the commander. He's going to be shoot away. That D-gun is very strong against these clumped up tanks. So can't donate all that mass right in front of your enemy's commander. Let alone one of the better players in the game at that. So looks like these pawns are still getting damage done, and they're running into Goopy's main base. He's gonna step in front of him with these blitzes and hopefully take the rest of those out. So great job cleaning out that run by. He needs to get another construction vehicle over to this top middle side of the map to reclaim those mexes and add on those LLTs back. So still we have a run by on the backside of these heavily damaged tanks. Should finally get dealt with by these LLTs, but not before Goopy retreats away. He wants to kite some more units, trying to squeeze as much value as he can out of these units in here. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, we have a big group of stouts running into all the LLTs of Raghna. So these stouts are very effective against these LLT forests here. We see they don't do too much damage. These LLTs kind of tickle these tanks, and they're able to roll through, clean up these LLTs as they move through their opponent's side of the map. So great job really concentrating this attack here to shave off the economy of his opponent. And Raghna's stepping forward with a lot of units. He's got a lot of Janus, a lot of medium tanks, and he doesn't quite have them grouped together completely, so it's going to force him to pull back. Looks like Goopy was able to get into position here to deflect that little attack, and still has these units trading in the middle of the board. We have pawns, or blitzes, running around the backside, stouts in the middle, doing a lot of damage still, shaving off a lot of mexes here, a lot of LLTs. Raghna struggling to deal with these run-bys here. We see a lot of tanks on his side of the board dealing a decent amount of damage, taking out all the work he's done adding in these LLTs. And meanwhile, Goopy's pushing into the middle. He's running into a beamer turret and Janus, and just look at how effective these are against these medium tanks. So can't dive in and clump your units up against these units that do AoE damage. You can take a look at these blitzes, still shaving off units here in the middle. And these stouts have rotated to the bottom right side of the board, so they should end up catching this expansion here and deal with these two construction bots. I wonder if Goopy actually sees that cloakable mechs here. He sees these mexes now. He's going to end up taking those out. I wonder if he's able to catch this one here. Yeah, so he can't see that yet. I think if you bump into those or get close enough, they actually reveal themselves. So see another battle here in the middle of the board. A lot of stouts trying to prevent this encroachment from Raghna onto his side of the map, and there's a nice little bit of a reclaim there for his opponent. So see another one of these mexes go down, these cloakable mexes. That actually works well with those LLTs. You EMP the units that destroy your mexes and take them out of the fight for a little bit of time. So see, where is this game at? We'll take a look at the statistics here. Both players relatively close in mass, 5k difference between the two of them, 17 minutes into the game. So advantage going to Goopy, but this reclaim field is under Raghna's control, so he's trying his best to soak up this reclaim here. We see these wrecks have a lot of mass in them apiece. These Janus wrecks, 150 mass apiece, so nothing to scoff at. It's quite a bit of mass. So we have continuing to have this run by here on the bottom right side of the board. We have a lot of stouts still moving around, looking for damage here. I don't know how this construction vehicle made its way all the way back to Raghna's base, but he's adding on an LLT. That's going to destroy this Lazarus. So that should have almost paid for itself. Meanwhile, we have this constant fight in the middle here. Stouts versus stouts, looking for damage here. Looks like Raghna is continuing to add on these heavier beamer turrets here. A little bit of a step up from these LLTs. Can take out some of these higher tech units as you move into the mid game. And lots of damage going down. So looks like Raghna is finally able to shoo away these stouts here in the middle side of the board. It's kind of moving in parallel with them as they traverse across this middle part here. And so much of the map belongs to Raghna, or belongs to Goopy. He's got this top side of the board completely expanded to. This bottom left side and bottom is going to be taken here shortly. He has one construction vehicle adding on mexes here. So both players looking for damage. So much build power here in the main base. Look at all these construction bots. assisting this factory here, so that's a lot of extra build power in the main. Really foregoing those construction turrets, which Raghna's gone ahead and made some in the center here. He's weak on mass, though. He's stalling a lot here, running quite a big deficit. Finally stepping up with his commander here. Is this really what you want to do, Raghna? Takes out several tanks, and that's going to force Goopy to retreat, so really good job using the D-gun to his advantage. And finally, we have so many stouts on Raghna's side of the board. They're dealing with the production of this factory here. These pawns don't trade too well against these tanks, and I hear one of those cloakable mexes here goes off, takes a lot of these stouts out of the fight. So those are going to eat some Janus shots there for now. Looks like Raghna's using the D-gun to his advantage here, but this commander is really vulnerable. He's down to 15% health here, so he's going to have to pull this commander back to safety here. And I think this game is coming to a close. Goopy is tightening the noose around Raghna's center expansion here. It's got him completely surrounded. Out expanding him on all fronts, on the top side of the board, on the bottom. He's got a lot of mass income for Goopy here. He's sitting at about 84 mass per tick to his opponent's 40, so nearly twice the metal income for his opponent, rather. And a couple more cloakable mexes end up going down, so they're going to take those rovers out of the fight for now, but really just continuing to deny the income to his opponent. And we see these Lazarus. This is funny to see. Just competing construction bots, construction vehicles running next to each other. So these rovers take out those Lazarus of Raghna, really denying that reclaim from his opponent. And we have stouts everywhere. We see stout near the main base taking out mexes, stout on the bottom right side, clearing out this expansion here. Rovers rotating to the top side of the map here. They're going to probably be rotating around the back of Raghna's base here. We see a lot of tanks in the middle for Goopy here. Really fielding a large army. You have 21 medium tanks here in the middle of the board against just a handful of Janus and tanks of Raghna. So Goopy feels confident. He's going to be stepping forward with these units here. He's going to eat a lot of damage from these Janus, though. These clumped up units do not fare well against those AoE missiles. And that's going to force Goopy to retreat for now. Raghna trying to get some damage on the top side of the board. He's running pawns into these rovers here. They're going to run right past each other. More pawns. Trying to clear out this expansion. I'd say this is Raghna's side of the board. And Goopy's done a really good job of capturing these mexes and adding on a lot of LOTs. And they have such a large army here for Goopy in the middle. He's got, what is this, 22 medium tanks against the 9 stouts of Raghna and 4 Janus. So really just playing it safe. I'm sure he knows he's at an advantage here. And we have a nice little pawn run by here on the top side of the board. How much damage can this get done? We have some blitzes moving into position, trying to get ahead of these pawns as they run into Goopy's main base. And Goopy's moved on to Tech 2, so he's going to be producing these bull tanks here. They are so good against the Tech 1 armies. So much health. And Raghna's moved on to T2 as well, so I see some hounds on the board for him. He's healing his commander up with these construction turrets and has his T2 advanced bot lab in his main base. So look at all these construction bots. That is so much build power. Looks like he's moving these. Where is he going to send these to? I think he's just using them to add on more solar collectors. So using the strength of these construction gangs to, add on additional solar collectors. And have a big tank battle here in the middle. And finally we see these bulls have made their way to the front line. We'll see how effective they are against the T1 tanks of Raghna here. You can see just how much damage they do. Even the Janus shots don't do too much damage to them. So they have so much firepower. Finally getting whittled down in health. And how soon till this game is over? It's coming to a close. Raghna's position is being dealt with here in the middle, forcing this commander to retreat to his hounds here. You can see just how little damage they do against those pawns. He takes one of those bulls out. And these tanks are making a beeline to the main base, so they're just rolling forward, blowing up everything in their path. Can't stop these tanks supported by the can't stop these T1 tanks, T2 tanks rather. And we see Raghna's trying to move in front of him. He's trying to use these pawns to slow down the advance and use a superior range of these hounds to chase back these bulls. But I mean, the damage has been done. End up losing a lot of those bulls for now. But I mean, just look at this map here. So much red on the map. We have bulls streaming into the center here. And finally, this commander is going to be getting surrounded here. See, D-Gun's going off, trying to do as much damage as he can. And that's it. Raghna goes down. So, good game. Well played, Goopy. Sure, that was a hard-fought victory here. Raghna is a tough opponent, especially on this map, Comet Catcher. So, I hope you all enjoyed these replays, and see you in the next Barcast Daily. Thanks for watching.